talking about the slope of the line. Does anybody have an idea what the word slope means?
Like
Monica, what does it mean?
It's when you're like, there's a slope, it's going up in a diagonal.
Okay, yep, yes.
It's kind of like a slide.
It's kind of like a slide.
Yes.
Okay, or think ski
Ski
slopes. Okay. Obviously, the more difficult the ski slope, the more straight up and down the slope goes, right? The flatter it is, the easier it is. Okay, so the slope basically represents the slant of the line. Now, is there such a line that has no slant? That's just straight?
Yes.
Can we have that? Yeah, we're going to talk about that today too. But the slope just means that you have a change. You have a change for how far up or down you're going and how far forwards or backwards you're going. So we write the slope as a ratio of a line's vertical change, so how much it changes up and down, in relation to how much it changes left and right, which is the horizontal change. So again, the slope is the ratio, so we're going to write it as a fraction. And guess what? We can write it as an improper fraction. So it's a ratio of a line's vertical change to its horizontal change. Now after that, we have what is called the rise. The rise is going to be our numerator, and it's how much a line vertically changes between 2 points. So if we're starting at point A and we end up at point B, how far up did we go to get between the 2 points?
One.
It depends. It depends on the line. So if the rise is a line's vertical change between 2 points, what do you think the run is going to be? Or the horizontal change between 2 points. So the rise will always be our numerator, how much a line changes vertically, that'll be our numerator, and how much it changes horizontally from left to right will always be our denominator. Now, do you think it's possible the lines only go up, or can they go down too?
They can do both.
They can do both, right? If a line goes up, would you expect the slope to be positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive. If the line goes down, or negative. All right, and then we're going to talk about when it does nothing, it just is flat,
Zero.
which it is going to be 0. And then we're going to talk about what happens if it's straight up and down.
Oh.
Would that be a ski slope that you would want to ski?
No.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that too. Now, the first little chunk of your information is coming from. So in order to do today's lesson, you are going to need to understand this box, okay? So when we are talking about an equation of a line, we need to know a y coordinate, we need to know an x coordinate, and we need to know the slope. So today we are talking about the slope, which when we go more into detail about the parts of a line, the slope is always represented by the number, not the number, the letter m. Okay, so we use m to represent the slope. Now to find the slope, we have to use the rise over the run. Now to use the rise over the run, we have to use this formula right here. Now this formula that they give you in your notes is rather vague, meaning it's not very specific. So I am going to give you the specific formula for finding slope. And it's called this. It's not going to make sense right now, but I think after we work some problems it will. We're going to take the second y coordinate, which I'm going to refer to as y2. And we are going to subtract it from the first y coordinate, which I'm going to refer to as y1. Okay? Yeah. And then that is my numerator. Why? Because y coordinates represent the horizontal change. So if y coordinates represent the horizontal change, guess what coordinates represent? Y represents the vertical change. So guess what coordinates represent the horizontal change? X. So I'm going to take the second x and subtract it from the first x. So here's my formula. The second y coordinate minus the first y coordinate over the top of the second x coordinate over the first x coordinate. Now how do I know which is which? You really get to pick. I tend to do it from left to right. Why? Because that's how we read. We read from left to right. So if I was to start here and to start reading, what ordered pair would I come across first? This one. So is the first number x or y? X. So I'm going to put an x over this one. And is the second number x or y? Y. Now, since this is the first coordinate I came to, this is going to be the first x, and this is going to be the first y. Now I have a second coordinate. Is the 5 the x or the y?
The x.
to here, how many points did I have to fall? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So since I had to fall 5, that makes that negative. Now how many points did I have to run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to end up with negative 5 over 5. Again, I'm going to show you how I got that. How did I get it? What's my formula?
Would you turn it to like plus?
Okay? Yes. Now, if I'm reading from left to right, which ordered pair do I come to first? 2, 1. So what am I going to label these? And then what am I going to label these? So now, what number, if I'm doing this, what number am I going to write first up here? Which number did I label as y2? Okay. Minus, which number did I label as y1?
1.
What did I label as
1.
1? Now, which number did I label as x2? Minus, which number did I label as x1? Now, be careful here. Negative 4 minus 1 is the same thing as negative 4 plus negative 1, which is what? Negative 5. And then what is 7 minus 2? What is it? Negative 5 divided by 5 and 5? Negative 1. Now, when we start using the slope to graph, you want to write everything as a fraction. So how do you write negative 1 as a fraction?
Negative 1 over.
Negative 1 over 1. Now, for the purposes of this, could you just say the slope is negative 1?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
If you put negative 5 on top of the test, would it be wrong?
I would count points off just because you will always want to write it in simplest form. Now, the difference here. Do we have a graph?
No.
No. Do we need a graph?
No.
Could you take the time and put these numbers on the graph and count?
Yeah.
Sure, but you would be doubling the time it takes you for the problem. So which number should I label as x1, y1, and x2, y2? Does it matter?
Yes.
You just have to be consistent. So if it were me, I read from left to right. So the first number I come to, I will label as x1. The second number I come to, I will label as y1. Then the next ordered pair, I would label this as x2, and this one as y2. Now what's my formula?
Y2 is my
Will this formula ever change?
No.
No. Okay? So now, which number up there did I label as y2?
4.
So instead of writing y2, I'm going to write 4. Now I'm going to write my minus sign. Now which number up there did I label as y1?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. You don't. Normally, I always put it in the numerator, but
Can't you put it in like where the?
yeah, you can put it even with a fraction mark. Yeah. Okay, last page. Now, we have had a positive slope. We have had a negative slope. Now, what happens here? Look at this line. Does it go up any?
No.
Does it go down any?
No.
It's what kind of line?
It's
It's just straight, right? It's just straight. Now, does it have any slope? Is it sloping any? No. Okay, now if you need to visually see this, the formula in action, x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm going to use my formula. y2, which is 2, minus y1, which is 2, over x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is -2. What's 2 minus 2?
0.
What's 4 minus -2? What's 0 divided by 6? 0 divided by 6 is 0. The slope is 0. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is it sloping any?
No.
No. It is a flat line. A flat line has no slope. Which number do we represent? Which number do we represent? Which number do we use to represent nothing? 0. So this is a 0 slope. Yes.
So mainly anytime we see that kind of line, or like we think it's a 0.
The slope is 0. Now, could we write an equation for this line? Sure. Y equals 2. Is that true?
Yes.
Y equals 2? Does it cross the y-axis at 2 and just go straight across?
Yes.
Yes. So what is the slope whenever I just have y equals something? 0. Because it's just a straight line. Is it still a function?
Yeah.
Is it in function form? Y equals something? Yeah. Yes.
If you had the x equals to be -2 and 4, did you use 0?
I mean, I subtracted the x's here and got 6, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means I moved this way 6 points. But it doesn't have to be. And the slope is still 0. Okay? Now, what happens when I have a vertical line? Now, if you need to see this visually, I'm going to say this is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. I'm going to use my formula. y2, which is -4, minus y1, which is 2, over x2, which is 3, minus x1, which is 3. Now, what is -4 minus 2?
2.
-6. What's 3 minus 3? 0. Now, the majority of your calculators, if you typed in -6 divided by 0, you're going to get an error message. Why? Because you cannot divide anything by 0. It is an undefined number. It's a number that doesn't exist. Okay, so our slope here is undefined. Now, does that make sense?
Yes.
Is x equals something
No.
a function?
No.
No, it is not. It is not a function. Would you want to ski this if the slope was this?
No.
No, because what would that mean?
You would
You're free falling.
down.
You're free falling.
You would rather respond.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because with skydiving, at least
You actually,
parachute
you
on.
can't, yeah, you have
Okay. All right. So now, if I wanted to write an equation for this line, this is just x equals 3. Remember, when we have x equals something, we find where it is on the x-axis, we put a dot, and we draw a vertical line. X equals 3. So if I have y equals For a vertical line, there is a change up and down, but there is no change left and right. And it is an undefined line. So you've got to understand the difference between a zero slope and an undefined slope. Now, positive and negative slopes are pretty easy. If it doesn't have a negative sign, it's a positive slope. If it has a negative sign, it is a negative slope. Okay? Now, this is taking it a step further. This is saying find the slope of the line through the given points and then tell whether the slope is positive, negative, zero, or undefined. So I'm going to go through, and on all of these, I'm doing x1, y1, x2, y2. x1, y1, x2, y2. x1, y1, x2, y2. And guess what formula I'm using for all of them?
The same old same.
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So from here, this one is going to be 5 minus negative 1 over 3 minus 3. For this one, it's going to be 4 minus 5 over 3 minus negative 2. For this one, what is that number? This one is going to be negative 1 minus negative 1 over 7 minus 1. Now, what's 5 minus negative 1? Be careful.
I got 6.
6, because you add the opposite, so it's 6. Now, what's 3 minus 3?
0.
0. Can I divide anything by 0?
No, it's undefined.
It's undefined. So if I was going to write an equation of this line, they tell me x is 3. Why? Because both of my x's were 3. Now, it doesn't ask me to do that. It just asks me what kind of slope it is. It's undefined. Now, for this one, what's 4 minus 5?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. What is 3 minus negative 2? 5. 5. What kind of slope is this? So the slope is negative 5 over 1, which makes it a negative slope. Now, this one, be careful here. What's negative 1 minus negative 1? 0. What's 7 minus 1? 6. What's 0 divided by anything? 0. Okay, now could we tell right away? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Y equals negative 1 on this. Now, it doesn't ask you to do that, but just know that the slope is 0. Now, the other thing that you need to know for this lesson is how or what each line looks like. So I'm going to draw 4 little coordinate grids here. Because this is always comes up on a quiz or a test. It says, sketch a line who has a positive slope, sketch a line who has a negative slope, sketch a line that has a 0 slope, and sketch a line that has a undefined slope. If I wanted to sketch a line that had a positive slope, how do I know that's a positive slope? Which direction do we read? Left to right. So if I was flying in a little airplane right here, and I hit this line, I would go up. Up means positive. So this is a positive slope. Now on the flip side, this line right here, what if I had this line? If I was flying in my little airplane from left to right, and I hit this, where would I go? Down, making the slope negative. Now, what about this line? Does this line have a slope? Or is it flat? Flat. No slope. So, therefore, it is a 0 slope. 0 slope. Now, what about this line right here?
It is